We go to Josh to start us off in Muscle Shoals, Alabama. Josh, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hey, Ken. Happy Friday.
Well, it is a happy Friday. I like that. Very good.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Thanks for being on your show today.
Yeah. So what's going on?
Okay. So ever since I was 5 years old, I knew what I wanted to do with my life, and that was to become a pilot.
Yeah.
And so I did that, but I didn't want to borrow money along the way. So for about 4 years, I mowed grass during the day at the airport and waited tables at night.
I love that.
Thank you. So after 4 years, I was finally able to get my commercial single-engine pilot rating, and it was a big accomplishment, and I'm very proud of it.
You should be. Can I ask you a quick question just so the audience can benefit from this story? How much did it cost you? What was the cost to get that that pilot's license or certification?
Well, had I borrowed the money, it would have cost probably around $100,000.
Right.
It ended up costing me probably in between 50 and 60, but I still didn't pay all of it. The reason being is I would take a lot of trips after I got my private pilot rating, and I would take friends and family along with me, and they would help pay for the gas. So it was actually even less than that. Now
that is beautiful. So it would have cost you $100 if you took the loan out. You did it at 50 to 60, but actually less than that because that's how you paid for the hours. Because you got got people to kind of go, hey, I can get you where you want to go faster as long as you're willing to pay for the gas.
Yeah, absolutely. So we would go down to the beach and eat crab legs, and I'd actually fly up to Nashville, hang out in downtown, and so it was a great time.
So
and I really enjoyed it.
So what did it end up costing you? Do you have any idea?
Well, the amount of flying that I did was 50 to 60, and I'd say I paid in between 20 to 30 of it.
So it only cost you out of pocket 20 to 30.
Correct.
All right, Joe, we got to remember this because we've had other guys call that have said, man, it's insane. And I haven't known the industry the way that you just broke it down, Josh. I got to tell you, that's brilliant. There are people out there that will not pursue aviation because of that $100,000 price tag. And I understand why. But you did it for 20 to 30. That's pretty smart. Hey, thank you for letting me interrupt you. That's really good information. So you keep going.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. And aviation is definitely extremely intimidating. And here's where I messed up, and I feel like this could be a great learning lesson to a lot of other people. My first job was with a flight management company in Birmingham, Alabama. And it was part flight school and part corporate aircraft management. Mm-hmm. And so the job was to teach half the time and to fly the other half time, and it was private business aircraft. The kicker was I had to pay for my upfront instructor training. And at the time, I didn't have the money to do it, and they said they would hire me if I paid for the training. So where I messed up is I took out a zero-interest credit card, and I said, you know what, I'll pay it off, or I'll pay for the training, turn back around. I've got this great job. I'll turn around and pay it right back off. The problem with that is the company took somewhat of a downturn. They overhired, and the plane that I was using to train in actually went down for maintenance. It was supposed to be a 2-week fix and ended up being a 6-month fix. And in that meantime, I ran out of money.
All right.
So the issue now is that I owe around $19,000. That's what my debt is, and still flying corporate now, but it's part time and it's very intermittent. And I'm working part time in the service industry to have the flexibility to continue to fly.
Right.
So my question is, do I just bite the bullet, go back working full time non-aviation? Put that on hold for a little while to pay back the money to get the additional ratings, or continue to work part-time, keep the flexibility, and keep flying at a much slower pace?
I think this gets down to the good old-fashioned Benjamin Franklin pros and cons. And I think, and what I mean by that is, if on one hand, the pros to pressing pause on flying and going and getting a full-time job, the pros are you're going to pay the debt off faster. That's a huge pro. The con is that obviously you have to press pause and you're not making some incremental growth, because right now how close are you to getting the hours you need for the next level of flying?
So I've got 700 hours, and to get anything substantial, I'm going to need about 1,500 hours.
How long would it take you? How long would it take you to get to 1,500 if you stayed in scenario A, which is part-time in the service industry and part-time flying? What would be the completion date of the 1,500 hours that would then, I assume, get you to a place where you could get a really good pilot's job? Yes or no?
Correct. Yeah. So
how long?
Probably 2 to 3 years.
Mm.
And that's if I finish my flight instructor rating, which is going to cost about $3,000.
Okay,
and it would happen much quicker with that.
Okay. Okay. So if I gave you, I'm trying to keep up with all these details. If I gave you $3,000 for that right now, let's say I was just Mr. Donor, the angel donor. I said, "Here's your $3,000." How long would it take you to get that rating?
Oh, that rating, it would take, depending on the weather, maybe a month, 2 months.
And then where would that put you in this whole journey?
So then I could continue to teach. So I could actually teach other people, establish more hours that way, and nothing else would come out of my own pocket. If I couldn't teach, I'm just kind of left up to the mercy of when I'm hired to fly corporate flights, and sometimes I can go weeks and not have anything.
So how long would it take you to get the $3,000 to be able to pay that, and then get you? So if you were to press pause on, my point is that $19,000 is not that much for a guy like you to pay off. So if you were to press pause for a moment, get $3,000 together, so that you get that rating done, and now all of a sudden you're actually getting paid to teach, and you're getting the hours. Am I right? Am I understanding that right?
You are. I would say conservatively about 6 months.
Yeah. I think I go that direction. Because I think you can pay the 19 off pretty quick, don't you? Once you get stable financially, because right now you're just on a part-time, so you're not making much dent in the debt either.
Correct.
Yeah, I guess there's about 3 ways we could cut this. Certainly want you to what I want you to do is maybe pause on flying right now long enough to get a full-time job. You know what I mean? So maybe you're waiting 40 to 50 hours a week, and or doing something to where you can get the $3,000 pretty quick and get that done, and then you do the teaching, which gets you the hours plus pay, and you can still work your fanny off in another job to pay the debt down. Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense.
That's what I would do. I would not quit this thing. I don't think you have to put it on pause. I know you're not going to quit, but I don't think you have to put it on pause for very long. I'd put it on pause just long enough to get another gig, which will get you to full-time, maybe a little bit of overtime pay, and let's get that next level qualification.